so much going on in the true crime world.
Man,
There's just
someone
so much
else just reached out to me and said that they speak to the cousin
of
for
which one.
whatchamacallit.
Would know which one.
Oh, she seems nice. The cousin from Sarah.
Sarah's cousin.
Yeah, someone reached out to me and said she speaks to her,
Uh huh.
but everything about her seems suspicious. And I thought that was funny because I didn't really touch on that part that much
Yeah.
in any of my videos. So I'm like,
Man, the messages. It's the Facebook
hey
post for
y'all.
me for the family that's just absolutely wild.
Yeah, they seem unhinged.
Yeah. There's just I'm telling you,
Hey
there's gonna
y'all.
be
Hey Simone.
hello guys.
Um,
There's going to be layers to this one. I'm telling you, I'm feeling it. Something's going
There
on.
has to be. There has to be. There has to be. There's no way. It's not what people think it is. Hello, Jennifer. Hey, Kathleen and
Hey,
Leanne
Kathleen.
and Angel and Morchu. Hey, Demetria.
Hey guys. Hey, Demetra.
Yes, this is one of my favorites.
My kids drink that. I can't drink that.
Why? Why don't you like it?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just I don't know.
The ones that I can't drink is the other ones. What's the other ones? Poppies? I don't like the way.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm thinking the poppy.
I don't like those. They take the
They were
poppies
sweet
don't
and
taste good.
weird. They taste funky. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Pink Pony. My nose is itching. I'm not
Hey,
picking my nose,
Pink.
just so y'all know.
Man.
Okay, yeah. So y'all, so much is going on. Ryan just went live. So he said that the claims aren't true. Um, also,
He
Madame
said the
Soto's
claims of the
case.
emails. Wait a second. The claims of the emails aren't true.
Yeah.
That's not true.
No, he's saying he didn't do that.
Oh, got you. Okay, that makes sense.
Um, he also, hey Elf, hey Connor, hey Angel,
Hey,
hey
Allie.
Success, hey Leanne. Um, but you know what I find strange? Okay, let's stay on topic with Gypsy for right now. Okay, and then we're gonna move on. I have a couple of things that I want to talk to y'all about. I think the vacation is giving very weird vibes because they try so hard to look like they're so happy,
Man,
but
that family's spinning out right now.
well, they have to.
Hell yeah.
You can't tell me all of what's going on has happened.
They all were called out for cheating. They're all cheaters, and they're all sitting around looking at each other, blaming each other for the massive
First of
mess.
all, you was talking about your stepmom like she was some chick on the street that you didn't give a damn
Yeah, that's
about.
wild.
So
Talk
that's
about
a
it's okay.
problem.
Cheat on her. That's not a problem, Dad.
Like, there's too much. First of all, her talking about Mia, talking about I can't stand to see her little face.
That's wild. That's
We knew
wild.
she was jealous of her, but did we ever think she was going to actually, we would visibly have proof of that? Like tangible proof?
No, but
No,
we
I don't think
would.
any of us believed that we were going to see tangible proof.
Nope.
Hey.
It really just confirms all the things we've all been saying for so long.
Right. And the fact that Gypsy knew for a fact that he was this whole time.
Yeah, that's wild. You
And
see, my
after,
whole thing is it. He. So my whole thing is she keeps saying he's gay. So why are you with a gay man? Is he bi? To be bi and be gay are two completely different things. But for you to keep saying that he's gay and then you're with him, make that make sense. What does that say about you? I don't even know what to say.
now I want to keep something in mind. Remember,
Hey,
she
Lexi.
said those claims were claims that I came up with. Remember, she said I was Steve Wood. That's why I said I don't trust what she says when it comes to other people because she has blamed a lot of stuff on me that I didn't have nothing to do with. And like I
Damn
know I
you,
didn't have
Nina,
nothing to
you
do with
made
it.
Ken gay.
Yes,
Come on.
he did say she was his beard. You know, that's your prerogative. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, but also the fact that he was on rugs. That's very interesting.
Yeah, but we knew that.
Um,
I mean, we knew that. This
but
just confirms and solidifies it.
but wait, you know what I think is very weird? Her dad was calling her boo. The dynamic between her and Rod
Dad
is
bought a hooker
very
booth.
odd. And she was calling him pimp juice.
Yeah, I just, yep.
Something's not right.
I've been saying that since the beginning. Like, it's just weird. Yeah. But no, you know what got me was he's telling her how he was dreaming of Dee Dee and being back with Dee Dee back when she was beautiful to the girl who killed her. Your daughter killed her, and that's what you said. How was that appropriate? Like, man, I had a dream about your mother last night. Too bad you killed her. What?
Okay, I'll check it out. Yeah, that's like, I don't know. It's a little, that's the devil's work. There's so much in those emails. And even the fact that she was literally enticing other men to cheat.
Yeah, but again, like, are we shocked? Because all of this she did all of this before, and I told you, people are creatures of habit. They repeat. Watch their history. Watch everything about them in the past. They can't stop. And so she just keeps replicating these same scenarios.
So what I think is, oh shit. If she's replicating these same scenarios,
That's what I've been saying all along, playing out these same roles, she's never going to change. She's the same person. So that just means that anything she has, go ahead, marry Ken, because we all know how it's going to play out. We've watched it all before. She just keeps playing out the same situations over and over again, and everyone's acting shocked. But I'm like, guys, we know who she is. I can call her next 10 steps because she just keeps doing the same things over and over again.
mm,
Except maybe she gets a little worse every time, so there's that.
yes. And there's a kid involved right now,
Now,
which
someone
is
just
just
said,
giving full on Demona.
yeah, someone just said she needs to go back to jail. However, I feel like at this point, if I'm going to be completely honest in what I'm thinking, I don't believe she's going to go back to prison unless she reoffends. And I just truly hope that she doesn't hurt somebody, that the next offense, if there is one, is not, assaulting someone or murdering someone, that it's, I don't know, tax fraud, tax evasion. Go play with your money. Leave the people alone, because I know everybody wants her to go back, but I feel like reoffending, I think, is the only thing that's going to put that woman back in jail. And if that happens, that means someone's going to get hurt.
At this point, yes. And but I think a lot of that has to do with politics and the climate that we're in. If things were different, I think that if we were in a different climate, maybe she could um but I think we're just there's too much going on and it that would just
We're
not
just
be
beyond that point. Yeah.
yeah. Um but I do think she will reoffend. The unfortunate part is that I think
If it's
someone
not
else will get
physical.
caught in the crossfire. No, I do think it'll be physical.
I, I'm, I know. I'm hoping
I
it's not
know
physical.
y'all I know a lot of people keep saying they don't. I mean, if she's following the same patterns, what would change this?
Well, there's just the fact that she calls Christy mom, and now we know that she was sneaky and doing dirty behind Christy's back. And let's be real, Christy worked really hard to make her quote unquote famous while she was in prison so she can come out to these TV shows and all the PR and all of the things. And I feel like there's gonna be I just hope it ain't Christy, mom number two. Wouldn't that be some shit? Talk about history repeating itself. Somebody stopped giving her mothers.
That's
You're silent
crazy.
because you see it too.
I mean, I just that
Not that
is
I
the
want that to
devil's work.
happen because I don't like her, but I'm not
No,
saying
no, no. Whether you like her or not, nobody wants to wish that on her. Um, and
I
just the
don't
way
think it'll
she's
be
giving,
Ken.
Ken.
I don't think it'll be Ken because she uses her men. She needs these men. She uses them to her advantage somehow. She's got some hook, even Ken. So I don't think it'll be Ken. I don't think it'll be her dad because, well, her dad is really the man she's been fighting for her whole life for the attention of. And so I really think the odd one out is going to be her and Christy.
Mucho. That's nuts. That's nuts. That is the devil's work. Man, it's just
Right?
this whole.
When you
But
really
you
think
can't tell
about
me
it,
all these emails came out and nobody, like, they haven't been like.
they're reading that they know they lived the emails. She lived the emails. That's why she went off. I told you something was going to happen when Christy started jumping panels. I told you
Oh
something
yes,
was coming.
but and that was the whole reason for the Billboard thing. It was to distract while these emails were coming out. People would have been hung up on the billboards. That was the whole purpose of that. But that for sure. But how would you think that these emails wouldn't be big? I mean, although a lot of this is stuff people already knew, right? Yes, we knew that.
It just
But
confirms our suspicions.
you know what we didn't know is that Brian was going to read her for filth.
Yeah, that's true. Didn't see that one coming.
Wait, Ken went live threatening Ryan. When you say a threat, tell me what the threat was. He was on an upper. Well, look, once a crackhead, I always a crackhead, okay? Thank you. Now what? Let me tell you something. Gypsy, how you got a crackhead that don't at
Wait,
least
hold
give you
on.
good
They're gonna
legal
have a
advice?
boxing match between Ryan and Ken. Ooh, I'll buy a ticket to that one. I want front row seats for that. Not Ryan throwing Ken around like a rag doll.
That's all that would happen. Is that even really a fight?
No, I just want to see Ken thrown around like a rag doll.
That is embarrassing. Now he was sniffing like crazy.
I'm sure he was sniffing, trying to keep it all in. His lips and tongue were getting
But let's
numb.
be honest. If you were with Gypsy Rose Blanchard, wouldn't you be doing something?
I would have to be doing something. Crap, I can't even handle the true crime case without feeling like I need to be medicated once in a while.
And you full on have Gypsy Rose Blanchard sleeping next to you at night, or at least in your vicinity.
That man hasn't had a good night's sleep in a long time. That's why he was so happy when she lived out with Christy and Rod.
And not Ryan said he wasn't wasting his time on a girl fight. That's crazy. Ryan's funny. Yeah, sobriety's impossible with someone like her. That I mean, that's a fact. Like, how could you be sober
You can't because you got your trigger sitting on your shoulder.
Child.
It's saying London Bridge is falling down. Oh Lord, at least it wasn't Ring Around the Rosie. We know now. They all died. Just saying. Actually, I think they all died in London Bridge too.
But also, the thing that I think is very interesting when you follow the patterns in her emails, everyone she was manipulating, she had these like long emotional emails to random people that you could tell she was trying to get them like emotionally invested and feeling sorry for her with too many men. First of all, did y'all see the Italian man that was 59 years old that was sending her money?
Not Uncle Louie Bag of Donuts.
I get out with you, Avery.
You were reading it off, and I'm like, that sounds like Uncle Louie. No, I'm just kidding.
I just show now I mean she just those emails were too. So I feel like a lot of times when people read emails or read what people say, they don't think of the manipulation in what they're reading, right? When someone tries to their behavior or their wording comes across like over emotional, like over like there was too many things in those emails where it's just she wants you to feel pity, but then she kind of takes you on this roller coaster ride,
Yeah.
right? To kind of zap you in. And that was like throughout most of her emails. And that is very alarming. And it really shows you who she is as a person. It's crazy. Those emails are crazy. They're
And like
crazy.
Butterfly just said, those emails are not that long ago. Some of them only date
Nope.
back to 2023, the end of.
Nope.
So again,
Nope.
that just shows you that she has not changed. She is always going to be who she is.
Well, you can't. Okay.
Thank
Yes,
you,
I know
Lucy.
people can change, right? But I think the problem is that people believe that people that manipulate the way she does, that have like psychopath and sociopath and narcissistic tendencies, like we've been taught in whatever religion that you practice that redemption is possible, right? With any and everybody. It's up to, God or whoever you believe in that will change that person. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know that people can change, but not everybody can. Some people are literally born like that. And if you really truly believe that they're gonna change, you don't really understand like their behavior is not a behavior that is changeable.
I
She
feel
is
like
not someone that could ever change. She will never change.
I feel like for people to change, they have to understand that there's an issue with how they are and they have to want to change it. They have to put the work in to change it. She will never, she's in denial.
She's
She
not
doesn't
capable of seeing
understand.
it. She's not
Correct.
even in deniable she is not capable of seeing it. Like you would have to be capable like there's something wrong.
Yeah, there's just a
She's not
disconnect.
capable
Right. So you
because
could
how
say
were
it
you
to
able
her
to
until
do all
she's
that?
right. You can say it to her over and over again and she'll deny it because she can't see it. She doesn't know that there's a problem. She won't recognize a problem.
Not only that, like think about you kill your mama and you come out and blame everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody else is the bad guy. Exactly, Jennifer. She won't admit to an issue. No, she can't because she doesn't see an issue. Exactly, Brandy.
Like,
It just makes it more disturbing that we have a lot more crazies out here than we already need. Smiley, let me tell you guys, talk about a lot more crazies. Did you guys hear about the Sarah Grace girl?
yes, let's take them down that rabbit hole because this
Boy,
is nuts.
guys, this is going to be, it's
So
like,
I
it's gonna,
called you. Let's tell them how the rabbit hole happened. I'm on the
listen,
phone with Ivory, and I'm saying, Ivory, have you heard about this Sarah Grace Patrick case? She's like, nah. I was like, you need to look into it. It's crazy. She looks into it literally while we're on the phone. She says something's not right.
I heard about her. Like, I knew who she was. I knew the story. I knew everybody kept saying she's like the next Gypsy Rose, which I don't believe. Um,
No,
so I knew
yeah.
a little bit about her, but then we're on the phone and I'm like, okay, that's it. Deep dive starts, right? That's it. We're going down this rabbit hole.
And it happened fast. Like that deep dive happened fast, baby, fast.
So, for those of you who don't know the story, a 17-year-old was arrested because her mother and stepfather were shot in their home, and her 5-year-old sister woke up and found her, and then they called 911. Now, it took 6 months for this girl to be arrested, right? Um, and she was arrested for the murder. But honestly, I don't know what, I don't know. Something in my, I don't know. I looked at her, I looked at like just the situation. I started looking at the family first, right? When we started looking at the family, that's when the red flag started popping up.
Hmm.
I feel
Well, the
like,
stepdad first. The stepdad for starters, right? Like I think that was the first red flag. It was because that's the first thing we were looking at, and his posts were very, I don't know.
loud.
Yes,
So Debbie, she didn't turn herself in. They posted a warrant for her. And then when they called her about the warrant, then she took herself in. Her father took
something.
her in.
Yes,
But she didn't turn herself in like, I'm guilty, I did it. She just turned herself in after the warrant was put out for her.
exactly.
But now let's talk about her stepfather, who apparently was a felon. I don't know what the felony is. I have to look deeper into that. But he was a felon. He was
A recovering drug addict,
a recovering
allegedly.
drug addict. Well, I don't know if he was
We don't know if
recovering.
he actually recovered, right? Like that's they say that, but but also what's even crazier is the fact that he's been to prison. He's reposted, um, like God don't let me end up here again or something like to that sort. The mom has also posted where she was
Can you
discussing
can
being
you
scared for her life from him.
can you pull that up? Can you pull pictures up?
Yeah. Yeah, I can. Hold on. Let me
Guys,
see
I
if
want
I
you to read these messages. She in 2022, I guess something happened between the father and the stepmother. I mean, the mother and the stepfather, and they were going at each other. She was out on Facebook talking about, "I'm afraid for my life. You're a drug addict. You're sleeping around." Like, I just feel like there's so much. If you go and look, this just goes deeper than this girl just decided to wake up one day and murder her parents. And part of me wonders, like, everyone is so gung ho on she did it. They waited 6 months if they had all this evidence. Yeah, this hurts me, but it's gonna hurt her more. Jaylee, this the little sister. Please pray for us and our safety. Please let me know if you see James Brock so you can warn me. He is trying to kill me. He has he's has been to get the house and child. Man wasted tears now, huge fears. That was in 2022, the end of 2022. So obviously these two had a lot of issues. And when I tell you these Facebook posts go so much deeper into his drug use, his cheating on the wife. The mother is fighting with the girl Sarah. in the comment section, like in these Facebook posts, this family had issues, right? And so that really struck me as like, wow, it's not just, there's something else going on. You know what I mean? Like, everyone is just so gung-ho on this girl did it. But I mean, you're talking drugs, cheating.
Well, okay. There's key points to note. One key point is they said the door was cracked. The son of the stepdad said that when he first found out about the passing, he thought it was a drug overdose.
Yep,
So, yes, there wasn't forced entry, but the door was cracked. How do you know that that's not a drug deal that went bad?
yep. Now you
There's
also
too
have to
many
remember
possibilities.
the man had an LVAD, and so he was at the end of his life if he didn't get a transplant, right? You have his sister is all over Facebook
Wait, Ken is on
screaming.
live with True Crime Perspective. It's getting good. Where's he on live? Ivory, do you have an iPad that you could pull that up?
No, I don't have it with me.
Okay, I have mine. But where's he live at? Because we just gonna listen to this on TikTok. Oh damn, he has a TikTok. Okay, let's see. What's the TikTok name? Oh, he's verified.
Oh, Kenny boy. Imagine hooking up with a criminal, causing trauma and a different way to do this. Let's go to the police, go to whatever, let's figure this out. But
I gotta see
unfortunately,
this.
it went along with the
Let me
crime.
see it.
And that's why
You can't see
we are where
him.
we are today, 10 years ago, but do you think he deserves to be in prison the rest of his life? Do you think like Gypsy got a break? Do you think he deserved one too? I can't speak on what Nick's sentence should be. At the end of the day, if somebody, regardless of what their rhyme or reason is able to enact a crime like he did,
Wait, what?
it's hard for me to
His
speculate
girlfriend
what
did.
his sentence should have been. And I understand that Gypsy asked him to do it, but there's a difference between asking and physically carrying out the
I
process.
don't know. What about buying the weapon?
Physically
She
carry out
handed
that
him the knife,
process,
dude.
there is something within you, and there are text messages. There is evidence of him saying how he wanted to do it, how he was excited to do it, and etc. And it is what it is. There's role playing and stuff like that too between the both of them. You know what I mean? Like, sure. But at the end of the day, all that we can do, meaning you, me, and everybody else, is speculate. But the reality is what happened, and he did what he did. So
What
and
happened
that's where
happened
we
because
are
of
now.
Gypsy.
And all that I can say is Gypsy served her time. She had lived a life of abuse and sheltered from age 1 till she went to prison, and then she went to prison for 8 years, and now she's finally able to live her life on her own terms. And is she going to make mistakes? Absolutely. Is she going to learn from them? Absolutely. Things that I learned in my adulthood at age 18 through 22, she's learning now at 32. Right. And that's just the situation that we're in. But all that I can do is say, you are where you are now. We are here. We have a family now, and all that we can do is look forward, and we can raise Aurora on the best way that we can, and give her a happy family, and that's what we have been doing. So if people want to attack her and make billboards, people have the right to do so. I want the best for the child. I want the best for you, and I don't want anything bad to happen to Gypsy. I don't. It's just that, but every once in a while, when we see this stuff, getting completely wasted the night after, instead of like. Okay. Well, allow me to speak on that for a second. She had fun. She drank and she had fun with her friends for the first time in her life ever. Now, I can't speak for you, but I can speak for myself. When I turned 21 and I was able to go out and drink, yeah, I went out with my boys and we got drunk and we had a good time. This is her version of that. she's finally able to, for the first time in her life, go out and experience that as a person. So is she going to get sloppy and have fun and get a little crazy? Sure thing. But why hold that against her? Is anybody else innocent of that?
Things that she could live stream with a big platform like hers. I'm thinking that's the one thing that she chose to live stream. And some of us.
So what? She's having fun with her friends for the first time that she's allowed to drink. I mean, like
the narratives that were out about that time. I figured she wanted to, this is just a suggestion. Again, you don't have to agree with me. I know to do something different.
Wait, is it cutting out? Because I can't hear it. Darn it! Lena!
Simulations of.
I can understand, but
Yeah.
She wants to have fun. She wants to go live and this and that. Let her have her fucking fun. Like, who hasn't had their share of fun?
But she's just not any average person. She's a convicted felon.
Now at her age, and you
with
argue
a
that she's
supposed
above
drug
this and
addiction
that.
history.
Listen, it doesn't matter. She can still go out and have fun as a mother, as a whatever, because she has finally been able to, for the first time, be allowed to do that. And I hold nothing against her for that. I don't look at her with a side eye or a squinted eye at all. She's allowed to go out and
you
have
can
that
always
night.
keep one eye open,
Night?
buddy.
Absolutely not. That's just like her off parole, having fun with her friends. Let's celebrate, and going live.
Yeah, but doesn't Nick deserve that?
Because you know what, it's hard to. You're absolutely right when it's like when all you have to do is see selective pieces of tea or whatever else is out there in the ether. It's just kind of hard to you can either speculate about what the other side is, but hearing it from the horse's mouth is much more effective. That's why I'm. And what's funny? I have a friend of mine that goes under the profile Free Ken Euchre. And I thought that was you at first. I thought it was my dick friends. I
don't have any dick profiles
for a second.
And Gypsy does not post on my profile.
Euchre for a second because that surprised me. So forgive me for that.
That's okay. Listen, I understand. There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of false narratives out there. Yeah. There's a lot of misinformation that gets put out about both of us. I mean, I see it on the daily. People call me in the book. I might as well be the Antichrist to the haters. I mean, the worst.
No, she is.
It's more concern than anything else. And you can do with that what you will, but I've seen more concern about you than anything else. Just because her past and her crime, and I understand that, and her better than.
I've also seen her evolution. And I think that she is in a great place today. She's surrounded by of support and guidance to push her in the right direction. Is she going to make mistakes? Yes, she is. Am I going to make mistakes? Yes, I am. Not every single moment of our life is our. And I'm proud of the direction that we've gone in. And of course, we have our faults and we have our moments where we fuck up and we probably say things we shouldn't. And we go live when we shouldn't. And we say, whatever, and that's just all a part of being human. And that obviously opens ourselves up to judgment with her following, with her 9.5 million followers, etc. And that's the way that it's going to be throughout eternity. This is always going to be an interest in how she's doing. But
No, it's
behind the
not.
scenes,
Sorry
behind the
to break
closed
it
doors,
to you.
behind the
It's not.
cameras, I will say that I'm proud of where we are and I'm proud of where we're going. And I think that we're doing okay. And we dodge bullets on the daily. People attack us and call us names and you know, want to try and you know, go after us for these insane and ludicrous things. And we just have to deal with it. You know, we have to. I'm not going to come on TikTok or Instagram or whatever every day and try and debunk every single rumor, because that would just be going blue in the face. Because there's a new rumor every day, every week. You know, and that's the way that it is. And listen, I know that you. Your audience has their opinions, and I'm not going to disrespect you or call you names or say, you know, this and that about you as a person. Yeah, you can have your opinions, you know, and that's your right. But I want you to also understand the possibility of the opposite side, you know, the possibility that we're doing okay and that things
So
aren't as
maybe
negative
she
as
didn't
they
kill
are
her mother.
portrayed
No, she
online.
did.
And that's what I hope for. That's all. That's obviously, I don't hope for anything bad for you, Gypsy, or the baby. I hope for all good things. I hope everything is turning around for her. I hope the family's doing well. There's nothing that I would ever wish negatively on you guys. You know what I mean? But again, like when you see pieces of information that either might concern you or might, keep in mind, like, you know, you're only getting that one side of it, and then you keep your opinion on that side. And then, you know, and amazingly, I finally got to talk to the other side, because I'm not sure how many people you've talked to, but if I'm one of the first, and I'm very glad. I think you are one of the first. You're probably the first person I've joined on the opposite side in a while, and that's only. It's not to attack you. It's just to talk to you as a normal human being. I'm here to attack. In fact, you know, again, I'm one of the only, like, what I did make jokes about take your hat off. I want to see that head, but you know, that's just me being funny. Yeah. Let's see it though. Let's see it. Come on, take that hat off real quick. Take the hat off. People say I look like you. I just did a buzz cut. Hey, it looks good. It looks good. Yeah,
Is this for real happening?
Dude, we're 95 degrees plus we have a whole bunch of heat. We have a smog
this really
in the city, because I'm
happening?
from New York City. Can I ask where you live? Oh, New York City. Okay. So I did a buzz cut later this afternoon because my sweat was so bad that it was
Justin's about to lose all his credibility.
That it was, I think it was 98 after just the regular. Like forecast said 92, but with the extra smog in the air and everything else that, you know, that's basically part of it. Man, listen, I'm in Miami Beach. It's like 100 degrees in here. I get it. I shave all my hair off. I get it. Like whatever. No, it's funny though. People actually think I look like you. Some people are just like, yeah,
what is happening?
I don't think so either, but some people say so. I'm just like, I look like Rod too, and I don't see the resemblance whatsoever.
What is happening?
Whatever. I can see a little bit of Rod, but then what do you think about Ryan and Dee Dee? Because I've seen that one. Okay, well, if I'm being honest, I see a little bit of that. But you know, the side-by-side pictures can be that's just interesting. However, I will say I've never seen Ryan in person.
Why?
So, and a lot of people have never seen me in person. And when me and Rod are sitting next to each other, you will not see a resemblance. But when people take a certain picture at a certain angle and they connect them, you know, maybe you can see a resemblance. And I'm not going to say that Ryan looks like Dee Dee, but like, obviously, if you put certain pictures together,
what's happening?
It's a little interesting, just like me and Rod. But I'm not going to say definitively, you know, yes or no. But anyway, you know, moving on from that. That's just fun talk. I've seen stuff. I mean, that's just slapsticky stuff. I've seen all kinds of stuff like that. And back in the day, like, I used to have like long emo hair. I used to be in bands and stuff like that. So it's just like I've changed. Same here. I mean, if you saw pictures, I mean, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 32. I'm 40. So. Okay,
I'll never
you're 41.
understand
Okay, well,
why
you look a lot
creators
younger.
allow them
But
to
anyway,
continue.
I look a lot older than I am. But if you look at pictures of me in like, you know, 2008, 2009, I had the jet black hair. You know, I had the emo over. I had all that shit. That was the trend at the time. That certainly was. Yeah, especially like anyway. Mid 2000s, like, you know, I was on Vans when I was in bands. I was on Vans Warped Tour and stuff like that. So it was like that was my. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, I can't listen to
Justin's
this.
not even reading the comments and asking questions.
Did you play?
I am a guitarist, full through and through. Guitarist. Okay, cool deal. Cool deal. That's awesome. Do you post your music on your profile or no? I have my old bands. I have like my old like personal music and stuff. I'm not currently in a band, but like, you know, I still work like on studio projects with my friends and stuff. Because again, like I used to travel 2/3 of the year like on a bus or in a van full of like 6 other sweaty dudes, and it's
I'm asking, are y'all flirting?
You have any stipulations? You know what I mean? It's like you make very little money depending on what label you're on, depending on how much the tour pays, and you're on the road 2 or 3 months at a time. You don't have regular income. You're eating very minimally. You might get a shower in a couple times a week. I don't mean to sound gross.
Right. No, you're good. I understand.
Walmart like sink shower kind of thing. No joke.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
We have to grind it out, man. That industry is very, very grueling. But I
can only imagine.
My 40s, man. I'm a CNA now, so it's just like I'm far away from that, especially after the pandemic came through.
Did he just say he's a CNA?
Can't do it. I'm still
I can't listen to this anymore.
No.
Married woman and thinking that
I'm burnt out.
I know a lot of people didn't like the way I handled Rod, but I want you to come at the fact that I was not going to give somebody who already had a platform out there to speak their story and narrative, and they were not coming up on my panel to push his narrative anymore. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't. You have your own platform. You've had a platform. Y'all spin your narrative all the time. Where you don't need somebody else's platform to spin it. They were never. I was never going to speak to him and allow him to put his story out there anymore. I just feel like you didn't ask any questions. You didn't get. I don't know. I just feel like they're gonna have a sleepover tomorrow. And they're both gonna show up in bunny slippers. Like, I don't even know what just happened. No, don't unfollow True Crime. Don't unfollow Justin. I feel like, honestly, when people just pop up on your panel like that and you're not prepared for it, it's really hard to get yourself together and try and figure out what you're doing. It's not an easy thing to do to run an interview on a last minute they hop up on your panel.
Yeah, but he could handle that very different. And that he loses credibility handling it like that though.
Yeah, all right. I'm trying to be nice.
Like you can't. I don't know. It's something about that just.
I would have had so many questions. I don't know. I feel like that was a lot more.
Because all he did was repeat. He repeated exactly what he repeated last year, and she's done worse shit since then. Talking about, I'm proud of where we are.
In
Like,
the comments. Yeah, you got to be careful with that too, because
what happened?
someone was just saying that he was ignoring his followers in the comments.
Yeah, that's where he was going wrong, because I would have wanted to ask a lot of the questions they wanted to know too.
Yeah.
Because it's, I don't know.
He talks a lot, so I mean.
Yeah,
I
but
feel
he's
like
not asking the questions. Like, he really needs to ask questions.
Ethan is on panel now, confronting Ken about leaving the comment scrumptious. There you go. What is Ethan saying? Maybe there's some hope yet. What's Ethan going on about? Maybe we can have a little faith in Ethan.
Let's go back. I don't know if I don't like Ethan as a creator. I just don't respect what he does.
I don't know Ethan, to be honest with you. I can't give you. I don't know him. I don't think I've ever watched him, so I just don't know him.
Okay, let's hear it.
Like I said, Gypsy did go down there to pick up her friends to meet us at 504 Golf, and in that time frame, she did see the billboard and go live, but that's it.
Yeah, the billboard went down the cross street suburban because
I saw that
at night, but the cross streets don't.
This is going to be interesting.
That's what the billboard did.
Okay, and all that I was saying is that a lot of streets around Bourbon do close in the nighttime.
Really,
and am I lying when I say that, or do they not?
Not Bourbon closes, but not necessarily the other streets. All the cross streets are opened.
And that's fair. And I mean, that's fair. And that's obvious and apparent, you know, and, you know, the billboard did go through cross streets of Bourbon. But what I was trying to say is that we're not going to be there. We're not going to be hanging out in that area. Not to mention that a lot of the streets around Bourbon closed anyway, you know, and there was no lies in that statement. And the statement that I put out from the billboard company was not forged. I did not make that myself. I cropped out the phone number that it was texted from because I wanted to avoid TOS violations, doxing violations. However, there are other agencies like Julie with a Recap or Renee that posted the full statement that has the phone number uncropped that shows that I did not just make that up. That was texted from the company the night of the billboard. Now, the next day, they put out a new statement. Did they change their tune? It seems so, and that's fine. They have a right to do so. But to say that I forged that and made it up is just inaccurate and not true. And that's all that I'm saying.
Well, in regards to going out to the French Quarter, did you see how people reacted as a response to the fact that, I mean, everybody can go out and do whatever they want to, but not everybody who has a following is getting on social media sharing them blackout drunk.
Okay.
Do you understand there's not some, like, there's some things that you protect yourself from?
Well, I'll tell you this.
I'm not
just like
following
I
his line of
told,
questioning. What's happening?
well, I don't know your name,
I
honestly.
don't get it.
I don't know
Justin,
what
I
he's
told
talking
Justin
about.
this. This was the first time that Gypsy was able to go out and have a night out on her own terms. Did she get a little drunk? Did she get, you know, did she go live?
No, she got a lot of drunk.
Sure thing. But there's no reason to hold that against her. This is the first time that she's able to do that. Understand? Like, you know, she's finally
Because
free of
she
parole.
had her
There's no
mother
restrictions,
murdered.
and she was out having fun like anybody else would when they turn 21, 22, and they have these silly little nights. This was her version of that. So do I hold it
Because
against
she
her as a
murdered her
person? No, I
mother.
don't. She was having fun.
Hold on one second. Guys in the
That's why
comments,
she didn't
go
have
to
that
Ken's profile, you will
experience.
see a blue check mark next to his name. So yes, it's the real Ken. All you have to do is click on his name. You'll see the blue check mark. Yes, it's him. It's not a fake. Just want to clear that up.
God.
Read in the comments.
He's
Sorry.
sitting right there in the panel. Are we for real?
Okay. No, I mean, anybody who knows my voice will know this is the real Ken. But anyway,
why does he have to be sarcastic?
And people legit thought this was Ryan, but like I'm just saying, like if like I checked your profile.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, but we know his voice.
I'm just letting him know how.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. But again, you know, yeah, she went out, she had some drinks, she went live with her friends. Was it you know, something to look back on the next day and go, that wasn't my proudest moment? That's fine, sure thing. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you. But she's out having fun with her friends. Like, have any one of us not had that moment, regardless of live or not?
Somebody get me up on that panel.
We have, you know, and
ask him.
And that was her time.
Get over there.
I'm banned.
And she decided to go live. Okay, she was super proud about it the next day, but she had her fun. So what? There's no reason to hold that against her.
She didn't have her first experience because she killed her mother. What are you talking about? Don't hold it against her. What?
We made friends with a person who used to make hate content about Gypsy that night. Ivory Grows Wild. You know, she met up with us at the 504 Golf. And she told us, you know,
here
this
we go.
Hard on me. I don't want to put out this kind of content anymore. I want to be a real person. I want to meet you as you are. And I think that goes true for most people. Ethan, I imagine you live in New Orleans because I know that you went to Gypsy's book signing. And I'm not going to attack you as a creator. I know that you have your audience and you put out your own statements, and that's fine. But if you ever had the time to actually just, you know, understand and meet Gypsy as a real person behind the cameras, behind the curtains, and just see that she's a real human being trying her best, trying to move on from her past and be the best mother and best person that she can be, it would be an eye-opening experience.
Why are we allowing them another platform?
It's easy to talk to say things about somebody who you've never actually met in real life, regardless of whether or not you took a picture of her.
Whether you meet her or not doesn't make her any less a murderer.
Real human she is behind the curtains. She is doing her best.
She's still a murderer.
And that's all I want to say about that.
That's all I want to say about that.
One of her friends from New Jersey, her name is S. She's a really cool person. She might have a question or two for you. I brought her really down to earth.
Okay. That's fine.
Is that okay?
Okay, that's fine.
I'm going to pass on the question and just listen. I have nothing nice to say, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Okay.
Who is that? Who is that? I like her. Who is that?
And like
That's
I said, when
Gomez.
I came in here, I understand that there is
I don't know
an
who that
audience
is, but I
of
like
people
her.
out there who have a
We just
differentiating
became
opinion,
friends.
and that's okay. I'm not going to disrespect you or attack you for that opinion. That is your right as a person. But all that I'm saying is, as somebody obviously who is in it and spends every day with her, I see the positive, I see the good, I see the
Look, that's your
progress,
fault,
I
buddy.
see the growth, and I will defend her because not only because I love her and she's the mother of my child, but because I see the steps that she takes on the daily to be a better person. She's not defined by her past. She's not defined by her crime. She's not defined by the childhood
Dude,
that she
she
had.
cheated on you
She's
like
defined
6
by who
weeks
she is
ago,
now.
bro.
And that's really all that I have to say about that.
One more person in here. I just brought in. Let's see if she comes in. Audrey.
Ooh, it's
Someone get me on
Audrey.
that panel.
Yes. Yes.
Who?
Yeah. I
Who?
don't like this person.
Audrey.
That's fine. You don't have to like me.
I didn't know you guys knew each other. But
No, I mean, she posted about us daily. I've seen you.
Okay. Ken, I just have a few questions about some things that you've said. I know that you are focused on what she said about Ryan, but how come it's excusable whenever it's about you, or it doesn't matter whenever it's about you, but it does whenever it's about Ryan?
Okay, give me context and examples, please.
You were just on live talking about the message that she said about the little boy, but you don't want to address her telling you that you should OD or that you're gay.
Okay, if she wants to say that about me, that's fine. That was her way of coping through our breakup, to attack me. Do I care? Do I bother about it?
He's
No,
a
I don't.
murderer.
But why do you
You
not
should
care whenever
care.
it's about you, but you give hella fucks whenever it's about Ryan?
Who said I give hella fucks?
I was just
Ooh,
watching your
who is
live.
this?
I watched how many
Yeah.
fucks you gave.
Okay, explain.
I like her.
You went on a whole rant
Do I
about how
follow?
you
I
want
need to follow. Make
Oh,
sure I
she
follow
ate
her.
down with that.
She did.
She ate.
But again, whenever
She
it's about
did.
you, it's irrelevant.
Oh, yes.
I don't care about things that she said about me. I don't care. It was
Oh, I
from
love
a
the question.
grieving person from my breakup. So she's going to attack me and slander me, and that's fine.
Okay.
Also from somebody in prison. However, do I believe that what she said about Ryan was true? Yes, I do. Because, again, Gypsy didn't put out these emails. They were put out from somebody else. So
then you have to assume that what she said about you is true.
So much detail to the story that I truly believe them. And if we can subpoena the phone calls, you would see that for yourself as well. And the reason why I said I challenged Ryan to a boxing fight is because every single live that he does, he talks shit about me. I mean, that's all that he has. He talks about me, talks about Gypsy. That's all that he has.
You took his wife.
Content. And he always was talking about how tough he is, how if he ever saw me in person, he'd beat me up, this and that. I said, okay, put your money where your mouth is then, dude. Let's do a boxing match one-on-one. Let's make content out of it. I'm sure people would love to see it. That's all that I said.
Okay, about the phone calls. Those requests are being going through. With that being said, if it comes out and he never said that, are you going to come out and say, hey, I was misled? Like, are you willing to own that?
If the phone calls come out and that became true, sure thing. But I know that they won't because I believe Gypsy.
Okay, that's fine to believe your woman, whatever. And then you are okay with the fact that Gypsy attacked you in a heightened state. But obviously Ryan's heart's broken. Like, look what y'all did behind his back in prison and out of prison. But whenever he attacks you, it's not okay. But again, it is for Gypsy. Like, be consistent, man. That's what people are pissed about.
I'm 100% consistent.
So then why are you mad that Ryan's upset, but you're not mad whenever Gypsy's upset?
Who said I was mad about anything? I'm not mad about nothing. I'm just saying this guy talks trash about me all the time. So I'm saying, if you want to fight me so bad, then let's do it. One-on-one boxing match. Let's go. That's all.
I mean, I would box you.
Dude, you'd be his rag doll.
Let's fucking do it.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I like her.
So if Ryan agrees, would you actually do a boxing match?
1,000%. I wouldn't have challenged him otherwise.
All right.
You do a poll on this?
So you want to be mollywopped around a parking lot? He said.
Blue yes, red
Raggedy Ken.
Like I said, 1,000%. And that would be great content. And I'm sure a lot of people would want to see it. So let's make it happen.
Dude, my ticket is bought.
Another question. What the F is Hershey's chocolate filling in a Pop-Tart? I feel like you need to explain that for all of us.
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. I didn't read the emails, so.
Well, you and her called each other Pop-Tarts, so I feel like you would know. Because it was to you.
Okay,
and she said, come lick my Hershey-filled Pop-Tart.
Okay, well, either way, regardless of whatever you think, that's personal. So.
That's what I'm asking you. What does it mean? So that it's not up to me.
I'm not going to talk to you about it. It's none of your business what it means.
Okay. So you won't disclose anything whenever it's about you, but you will disclose everything about Ryan and then turn around and play the victim?
I've literally disclosed nothing about
I like
Ryan.
her. I really like her.
Things that have been disclosed on his part. Okay, and that's it.
Ken, really quick, do you agree with what Gypsy did disclosing Ryan's medical medication regarding the medication?
Or about the bananas? Like, are we okay with using bananas?
Great idea, but I have no control over that, and
I'm asking if you agreed with it.
If I'm being honest, I don't think it was it wasn't a good idea, and I don't support it. But
okay,
that was a bickering between exes, and sometimes when bickering exes will say things about each other, it doesn't mean that I have to support.
I have no control over that. I see you, Coy.
Tell me five things you don't.
Give me examples.
Tell me 5 things you don't agree with. Let's go there. I'll let you tell us.
I'd rather you give me examples. We can go through them.
Okay, her saying you're gay. Do you agree with that? Yes or no?
Obviously not, because I'm not.
Okay, her calling out that you were on drugs in her messages. Do you agree with that? Yes or no?
Obviously not, because I wasn't.
Okay.
That was just her way of coping with the situation, and that was her finding
Murder
her,
was also a way she coped with the situation. I'm just saying.
But no, I don't support that, obviously, because it wasn't true.
Do you think it's a good idea that she's been given the platform that she has whenever initially she came out saying that she was going to come out and speak about Munchausen, and she's done nothing with it?
Well, for the almost the entire time that she's been out, she wasn't allowed to speak on certain things because of her parole conditions. So I will give her time and her peace to allow herself to come to those decisions now that she's off parole, if she chooses to.
Okay, but that's not a valid excuse or even correct, or else she wouldn't have sat down with Kim Kardashian and discussed it on live TV. So let's run back.
Prison reform.
Bam.
Okay. And again, she didn't talk about Munchausen in her own stuff, but she did right there with Kim. So
why are you asking me about her comment? I wasn't there.
I'm asking, do you support?
If you want to ask her, you can ask her. But I support whatever
I'm asking
she wants to do for the time that she wants to.
I'm asking you, do you support somebody who went to prison for what she did, having the platform that she does, and not doing anything good with it?
She will do with her platform what she chooses, and she was given her platform by people who choose to follow. If you don't want to follow, and you don't want to listen to what she has to say, then you can clearly just unfollow and swipe past.
I don't follow her.
Okay, but you clearly talk about her every single day, do you not? So obviously you are very intrigued with her life.
I'm intrigued with her lying.
Come out, yeah, I have talked about her. That's kind of been my whole gig on here, is to talk about content creators and what's going on. And right now, her emails are what's going on. It's not that I woke up and I was like, holy shit, I got a raging one for her. It's that these emails are new information.
Okay, so what about her emails you want to talk about?
Well, you've shut down everything and basically said it's excusable. So nothing really. You make excuses for everything.
An example.
I have.
Run it back. I want to hear it.
Oh my God. Are we going to go through all this again?
We don't have to. I'm just saying that she's where she is now, and she is allowed to speak on whatever she chooses to. She's her own person. So if she wants to talk about this or that or the other, that is her privilege to do so. If you want to listen, you can. If you don't have to watch. You don't have to follow. You don't have to listen. That's your own prerogative.
Okay. Do you feel any type of remorse for sweeping in on her and Ryan's relationship like you did?
Good question.
Absolutely not, because it was totally been been put out falsely how our relationship even started. Because the only time that we reconnected was when she separated from Ryan. That's when we reconnected.
He was still married.
I wasn't coming in there and sweeping her out of her house while she was still with Ryan. What? And that brings me to a separate point. You know, Gypsy should have never been married while she was in prison. She should have been allowed to come out and live her own life on her own terms and breathe a little bit to finally figure out what she truly wants in a person, which she wasn't allowed to do. Now you go and look at almost any prison marriage situation, and they almost all end in failure.
What do you mean she wasn't allowed to wait until afterwards to marry him?
Getting into, or the person that they're getting involved with. And when she came out, she realized after a few months that it wasn't right for her. She separated, and then we reconnected. So no.
Okay. And then, everybody in the comments keeps bringing up the NDA, which you said in your live earlier, you never signed one with Gypsy. Did you sign one with Lifetime though? And I asked that as somebody who has filmed and been a location manager for a show. Okay. And I know they make you sign NDAs. So did you sign one with Lifetime and not Gypsy? Is that the confusion?
No, I never signed an NDA with Gypsy. And the only agreement that I signed with Lifetime is that I will not put out facts and details of my life because I have to allow the show to do so. So
an NDA.
I'm not going to say, I don't know. I mean, all that I know is that I said I cannot put out events happening in my life because I have to allow the show to put that out.
Yeah, that's called, it's a non-disclosure. You're not
reality TV show. Okay, any reality TV show is going to make you sign the same contract that you can't put
I'm
out.
not asking you what they make you do. I'm asking you, did you sign? What are you not understanding?
Okay, so that's just standard for any reality show.
I know. I just said I filmed on some. That's why I said
the question. If you already know the answer,
because earlier you said you've never signed an NDA, so I was asking you to clarify.
I said that I never signed an NDA with Gypsy, meaning on the terms of our relationship that I can't say things or put out things about us as a couple.
Good question.
That's what I said. I can't do that. But as far as the show goes,
can I ask a quick question?
If you've worked on these and all that, then you would know that if you're on a reality show.
Hey Ken, really quick, why did you contact Christy and to get a hold of Gypsy about your feelings to her instead of Gypsy herself? I'm curious about that because it was Christy that revealed it to Gypsy. Why is it that you went to Christy instead of just Gypsy herself? I'm just curious.
I didn't go to Christy for anything. I mean, me and Christy have retained a relationship of communication over the last several years, and there's nothing special about that.
But on the show,
what you showed on the show,
the show has to put out a narrative and a storyline.
So
yeah,
make
it seem a certain way. I'm not saying that
I have proof that they were communicating.
That, I talked to Christy
the way before.
Christy yourself saying, "I spoke to Ken. Ken said this. He regrets this." And so he's about to say
that everything he shows on the show is a lie.
You specifically, and that she wanted to reiterate to Gypsy your feelings and that your regrets, and he wants to reconnect. This, and that. This is coming from her mouth directly, not the show's mouth, unless they told her to follow a script or something. I don't know, but I'm just
no. There's no script.
Huh?
There's
so
no
then
script.
That was the
I think so. So that's why I'm asking. Did you get a hold of Christy first, or is Christy lying about that?
Nobody's lying. Did I talk to Christy? I did. You know, did I tell her that there are certain things about how our relationship ended that I regret? Absolutely. I'm sure I did. You know, I can't give you specific examples because I don't recall all of them.
But the show, your own show. I mean, because he says he wants to reach out. He regrets breaking up with you.
So in other words, you initially got in contact with Christy after she got out.
It was the story that was being told as to how we separated that was untrue. That I was trying to clear up and clarify, and that's all that was.
Well, I mean, because she went into other things like you regretted breaking up with her and all this other stuff. Basically, stuff in my impression, from the outside looking in, it looks like she's trying to resurrect really feelings that she didn't get over, or she was simply saying whatever she had to do to basically end her marriage with Ryan right there. That's the impression I and most viewers had when we were listening to even Mia, her own daughter, called her out for this. So that's why I'm asking about it.
I think the impression that Gypsy ended her relationship with Ryan to get back with me is untrue. Gypsy ended her relationship with Ryan because she realized, and as you'll see in the emails, that she knew that it wasn't quite right And then it wasn't until she got out of prison and was able to spend time with him in the real world that she realized that it wasn't meant to be.
No, it's not. That's not the. No, it's not.
If that's the case, why was she still saying he was her comfort?
Yeah.
Like the information made to you. Like it's one thing if Gypsy called you and then like said all this to you, but then in the show it's Christy and everything she said that I said, and even Mia saying yourself. It's like Mom, you know, if you didn't say all this, I mean, like I said, I've always said that her and Ryan were not going to last no matter what. I absolutely, you know, they were just. It was. I gave them 6 months to be generous, and I was way too generous. And then on top of that, I'm just asking that question because, like I said, it was something that even Mia was irked about.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Smiley, I agree. Thank you for the
You didn't have to
gifts.
tell her all this stuff. Now she's an emotional mess kind of thing because these were highly supercharged emotional feelings that, you know, that she was resurrecting for her right there. And with pretty much anything that she had to say, and it kind of looked like there was an agenda attached to it. And the only thing that kind of made me pause for a minute was like, why would you contact Christy and not Gypsy about feelings like that? Like that was why I was asking about that.
Ken been talking to her from the day she got out of prison.
How I felt about the entire situation, and that's kind of really where it ends.
And she just reiterated it to her. But you didn't call Gypsy yourself and say anything about it?
We had our conversations. I can't tell you the exact timeline of when.
He did because remember, Gypsy said he told me.
Separated from Ryan, and then I decided.
That's a lie. He's lying. Because Ken told me.
Well, I was just curious about that because that's
no,
in the show.
Gypsy said it. That she had a conversation with Ken before she reached out to me, and she reached out to me when she was with Ryan. That's a lie.
House while she was still with Ryan. That's completely untrue and that's false. The only time that the very first time that I met up with Gypsy was after she had moved out of Ryan's house, moved back in with Rod and Christy.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
The first time.
That's a lie.
Okay. Well, yeah, that was the only part about that I just had always like in my mind was just like, you know, I found it a little strange that maybe like you would contact the stepmom instead of Gypsy herself. I didn't know what was.
Well, I mean, the whole notion that I contacted Christy for this to happen is just untrue. Like me and Christy had remained in touch over the years on a friendly basis.
Which is weird.
And, you know, when I saw the podcast with Ryan and Gypsy talking about like all the reasons why we separated that were just not true, then me and Christy talked about it. And I said, well, this is false. This is not true. This is not why that happened. This is why that happened, etc. And then she relayed that to Gypsy. And, you know, and then a few months later, we met up.
There's no way it could have been a few months later because she was already pregnant a few months later.
Exactly.
When you were engaged the first time, that was between like 2016 to 2018, if I'm not...
No, it was 2018 or 2019.
2019, okay. Now, do you feel that Ryan was more of a rebound as far as like, you know, to get like...
Well, I'm not going to speculate on that. I think that like people that are, I mean, just an overall opinion of people who are in prison, I think...
That's what I'm saying, Jennifer. I agree with you. That's kind of weird.
Reaches out to them, and
I'd be upset if my family members kept in contact with my exes.
You know, Gypsy was
that'd be a big problem.
That she thought that this was going to be her.
But then again,
forever after, even with all the things that she knew that weren't right between the two of them, and it wasn't until she got out, was able to breathe and become a real person, that she realized, okay, this is not what I want, and then separated. Which I think is a common story with a lot of people who get married while in prison.
I definitely agree that she should not have gotten married in prison. She should have gotten out and experienced the real world.
I mean, yeah, there was no reason to get married in prison. I mean, they got married a year and a half before she was released. I mean, like, why rush it? Right. Like, why not just allow her to come out and, you know, see if that's what she really wanted?
He was in control of that.
You know, I think Ryan was willing to ignore all the red flags that were in his face purposely because...
What about her, though? Why are you taking accountability for that?
She came out and realized that they were not right for each other, and she made her own decision to separate. And
you're putting the blame now that she married Ryan in prison on him?
Can I ask a question? Really inappropriate conversations with other men while y'all were together, and even up till right before y'all were going to get married, but didn't.
Well, I don't support it, but I also understand that, when you're in prison, you need money. And I think that she was, reaching out to these people and talking to them for whatever her reasons were. I don't understand. I don't know. But, I think that that's just
And you can just
difference between
overlook
being
that?
a person out in the real world and a person in prison.
But okay, so I'm looking at a list and there's Muscle Man, G Kumod, Brian, Brad, Batman, Robert, and she wasn't getting money from all of them. So let's reel that back and take that out of the equation. How does that make you feel?
I love this girl.
Does it not make you a little insecure on the outside that if she can do that on the inside, what is she going to do whenever it's readily available on the outside?
No, because I know her for who she is now, and know that we are a connected family, and that her entire focus is on us and our child and our family. So my security is her completely embedded with that, and I don't worry about any of that shit, because a version of her in prison versus the version of her out now is completely different.
Well, let me give you some real advice. I don't like you, and that's fine. You don't like me. But as somebody that had a spouse that was in prison, if they're unfaithful in prison, they're going to be unfaithful outside of prison.
Well, I know for a fact that she hasn't been, so I'm not worried about that at all.
Hasn't been.
Except with her husband.
Right, has not been since she's been released from prison. Right, exactly.
But she
anyway,
was
I've
with
got to go
Ryan.
because I have a youngin that gets up a little early because he has seizure medicine to take. Good chatting, even if we don't like each other. Good talk.
Good night.
Bye.
All right, can I another guest in here? I think you guys may or may not know. I'm pretty sure you guys may know each other. Fancy, do you know
each other very well.
Oh, get Fancy off. Oh, man.
Maniac.
I have one question for you.
Human being.
You can't answer one question.
Your questions because you're a fucking lunatic.
You can't answer one simple question.
All right, this is not funny.
Crazy person. So
Why
I will
am
not
I
talk
feel-
to you whatsoever.
Well, my
You can
only
drop
question
out
for you
or
was, why is it
rant
okay
all you
for
Why
you
am I on Team
to
10
say
with
all
this
of those
one?
things about getting married to her when you wanted to marry her in prison?
Right.
And you were mad because we expressed concerns about that, but yet it's
Oh,
not
I'm here
okay
for
for her
this.
to get married to Ryan under the same pretext.
Right, and that's the entire reason why we didn't get married, because I realized that she
No,
is
it's not the
about
entire
real
reason
world,
you didn't
and
get
no,
married.
it is the
No,
entire
I
reason.
know the
I
reason
know,
you didn't get
Jamie.
No, you don't. You
Yes,
have
I do.
a ridiculous narrative.
Oh,
about you
You,
think.
Christy,
Justin
and
had
Gypsy
no
at the
idea
same
what
time.
he just did.
So I'm pretty sure I do know. You're the one that's
I don't think
lying
you, I
about
don't think
it.
you know anything. You're
lying about it.
He looks like a
Man,
deer
got
caught in
Gypsy.
headlights.
No, I'm not.
Absolutely
I'm
are.
not lying at all.
And you're condescending and rude and very
Right,
narcissistic.
seriously, Tabby, why did I just switch to Ken's
Fancy
team?
guys, just be civil. That's all.
Well, I was civil.
I'm not gonna
sit
no,
here and
no,
let you
I'm not
I
gonna be
can't.
civil with you because you're a lunatic, and the things
Not
you
a
say
lunatic.
to me and
I
my
agree.
Dude.
are
He's speaking
crazy.
back.
You have no personality absent of Gypsy Rose. You have
there gonna be any
no,
He's just going to continue to
You just
answer the
because
question.
she's a crazy person.
he just
and I
ruined
won't
the whole
talk to you.
interview.
I'm not crazy.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I took Fancy out. I'm sorry.
You're a
That's okay.
lunatic.
That is one person that I will not talk
He
to
is,
because she
though.
is a lunatic. Literally, I have an
I
extremely small
snorkel.
list of people that I've placed in that box. Fancy is one of them. She is a lunatic, and I will not
Before lifetime, am I correct?
So she says, but nothing was ever picked up from her because nobody wants to work with her.
Because they owed her $10.
Content
I know, right?
and
I can't, I'm dying.
will only ever be about Gypsy and this negative context and just ridiculousness, and I won't talk to her. She's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I've only gotten to know her a little bit. So I mean, like I said, I'm only new into this community a few months. You know what I mean? And I'm just
I understand. Listen, I'm generally an open and accepting person, and I will talk to most people, even if you're on the opposite side. But there's a very, very, very small list of people who I've seen their true character, and I've seen the things that they've said and put out about me and Gypsy and my family that are so ridiculous and disgusting that I will not entertain even the most simple conversation with. And Fancy is one of those people. She's I'll just stop.
Okay. Let me see. I actually invited my friend Lindsay on here. I think she had a question. Lindsay, are you here?
Oh, is that our Lindsay? Good, Lindsay, go.
Oh my God.
Hello, Lindsay.
Oh my God.
Did you want to ask? Nope. I guess she's gone. I guess not. That's okay.
Right, Mr.
Fancy
Haven?
knows no truth. I'm talking to your chat right now. Okay, I will literally debunk every statement that she makes. And let's go ahead and just talk about the one that she just made about how, like, I did talk about getting married to Gypsy while she was in prison. But I eventually scaled off of that because I wanted her to be able to
Hold
come
on.
out
We got the
and meet
text
me as a
messages
person and
between Ken,
understand
Christy,
me as a
and
real person in
Fancy.
the real world before it
Be
decided
careful,
to get
Ken,
married.
because I'm about to debunk you.
We called off our engagement.
Now, everyone says that the narrative I heard is the Dr. Phil podcast is kind of what got you to rearrange your thought process. Is that true?
Well, that's not true. No, that's not true at all because the Dr.
Didn't
Phil
he say
thing
that?
came out in 2017, and we were talking about getting married a year after. But I mean, with the advice of Christy, my mother, and everybody around me, I ultimately realized, not to mention I was 24, 25 at the time. So I was still kind of growing up myself, that I realized, okay, it's not a good idea to get married right now. Let's call this off. Let's wait for you to get out and let's see where life takes us. And then ultimately after we separated, ultimately after we called off the engagement, we did end up separating. But that's the reason why we didn't get married while she was in prison, because I wanted her to come out and just breathe a little bit and see if I was the person that she wanted to marry before we actually did that.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. That makes sense because I myself, as a man, I wouldn't marry.
No, Justin, it doesn't make sense.
Especially while they're in there, it's one thing to correspond, and
we
just
saw
keep
the
it
messages
but to take it to that level. While somebody's still behind bars, you don't know your dynamics outside of being restricted from freedom. You know what I mean? Then yeah, because like I said, it's one thing to just corresponding back and forth, but then the whole dynamics will change. Especially when you're in there for a long time, like Gypsy was.
But that's why Ken went on his
it's almost going to be culture shock.
Yeah,
in prison at that point.
Exactly.
Getting back into the real world, you don't know how someone's going to get back into that, stride and be able to adapt to that, because things change very quickly. I mean, look at 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it's smartphones weren't even out yet. Now it's like kids, I tell kids nowadays, when I was their age, we didn't have phones.
Now we just have diarrhea of the mouth.
They freak out. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. But, all things aside, it's things change so fast. The world is moving very quickly. And then when you're in prison, from what I've heard, I have a clean record. Basically, the whole world comes to a complete standstill in your life while everything else is moving to the outside. So that's the best way I've heard it described, and I can see why that would apply.
Well, Justin, it was nice knowing you.
Well, now from what I've understood, they give inmates access to emails, tablets, and
you just read them. What are you talking about?
This kind of thing. I'm not sure what the rules are or how far that goes or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure Gypsy and all their
Ken has flowers for Justin.
Prison mates and stuff like that will have their
he has flowers for Justin.
He sure does.
When before it was mostly just
I'm
writing
telling you,
letters.
there's going to be a sleepover tomorrow.
I mean, again, that's the world I don't really know.
Someone put in the comments, you're babbling.
It's very different.
They're going to have a slumber. Yeah, he is. He's going off into left field.
Yeah.
Reel him back in, guys.
Scoops videos.
Reel him back.
Have you watched any of them?
Reel him back.
Have you watched any of her videos?
Who?
I think I've seen one or two. Yeah.
Okay.
Who?
Now, just because she was I know, you're not very, again, if you're looking to look into the other side, into a very deep dive, I would recommend watching hers, especially her beginning type of stuff. It's probably going to be stuff that might infuriate you a little bit, but she brings a lot of receipts.
He knows her. He was on panels with her. Reel it back, Justin. Reel it back.
It's a very biased point of view.
Oh, no, I understand bias, but I'm just saying. I think Rod Blanchard, and I think Rod himself, I think on a hot mic, I guess you say, sort of moment, even said, even Becca Scoops, even she has merit. I think there was something along the line, because she used it as an intro in one of her vids. That's how we know we said it. So for your own curiosity, you don't have to believe any of it if you don't want to. I understand the bias. Absolutely. It's if I'm with somebody, I have a bias for them too. You know what I mean? I understand that completely. But if you know what I mean, if I could,
take another caller, Justin.
What I saw from her, I don't agree with it.
Yo, go get him.
It's a very biased point of view. Also, I've learned things about who Becca is as a person that kind of turned me off. The line about being a retired nurse, that she was disbarred from being a nurse.
I understand all that. It doesn't mean to me
about somebody, etc. So, I don't necessarily watch her videos without a grain of salt, and I think that she has a biased point of view, and kind of, people take out certain context that they don't want to be a part of the picture to kind of put out the narrative that they want to put out, and that's true with.
I mean, but the facts are the
Her
facts.
earliest stuff,
Yeah,
like the
that's what
first, I
I'm
would say,
saying.
3 or
The
4
facts don't
videos she
change
put
regardless of who
out.
puts them out there.
I mean, she doesn't just come up with a narrative and then that's it. Like, there's receipts right next to it. There's contradictions from what's something that Gypsy said one interview versus another, stuff about like how far she went in school. Like, there's a lot of side by side stuff in there that gets addressed, and I'd be curious to know if you watched them, and you know what I mean, and just to hear what you might have to say about some of those videos, because again, it's more of a deep dive. It's not out to trash her, but it's more just out just showing things kind of at their face value.
Megan,
Yeah,
I
there's
hear you.
a tilt and a bias to it, but then again, at the
Oh
same time,
gosh,
but
reel them
Rod
back, guys.
Blanchard himself said it had merit. And I'm not just saying that, like, well, if Rod said so, then it must be great. No, but at the same time, it's just like, I encourage you, if you're curious about the other side and getting a more like deep dive analysis on that,
He
Becca
knows the
Scoops
story.
is someone I would recommend, regardless of what you heard.
Well, I'll tell you this: regardless of what people say about Gypsy in her past, I don't look at Gypsy and think about her past. I don't.
You have to watch
I
history in
don't
order not
judge
to
her on
repeat
her
it.
past.
Just
I
putting
judge
that
her
out
for where
there.
she is now, and the
No,
person
I
that
can't
I've
do
been
that.
with over the last year, and the person that I've seen her evolve into, and the things that I see that she
The
wants in her
stuff that
life,
she's
and the
done
things
in the
that
last
she's
year
done
and a
for our
half has been
family and for our
terrible.
daughter. And that's what I focus on. I don't focus on the tidbits and
Audrey,
the things of the past, what she did under the control of her mother and the abusive lifestyle that she had to live through at that time. I don't look at her like that. I don't look at Gypsy as this specimen of true crime. I look at her as a
She's
human
a
being today.
murderer.
And
That's
I
how you
talk to
need to
her,
look
I
at her,
judge her
because that's
on
what
her
she
actions
is.
today.
No.
And that's the way that I want to live my life, and I understand where she came
Dustin,
from,
you're losing
what
them.
happened with her, and I see the person that she's become now, and that's the person that I love. That's the person that I care about. That's the person that I want to see grow and progress, and
Not be a murderer.
that's all that I put my mind on. I don't look back at like what happened in 2008, 2009, 2010, whatever. There are a lot of things that I did back then too. I mean, not that they're equivalent, but I'm just saying we all have pasts. We all grow as people, and I focus on the family that we have now, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. One thing.
But if you don't go by history, the family you have now may not be tomorrow. I'm just saying.
A lot of those procedures that she got done, especially with like there's that narrative that she had all these procedures and surgeries that got done.
Here we go.
First of all, I can explain to you how that's not true, just being in the medical community myself, and just how hard it is to get one procedure. You know what I mean? I guess just to get one procedure throughout the whole course of like the medical community and between insurance, how to get that approved, let alone because they don't operate because a charismatic mother tells them to. I'll tell you that right now. But the other thing is the medical documents that came out that you show that she had the 4 procedures done.
Oh God.
Due to the micro deletion. So I'm curious, like, do you still believe that she's had many surgeries done or unnecessary treatments done simply because Dee Dee told them that she had these things and they just went by her?
I do believe so. I do believe that the feeding tube was completely unnecessary, seeing as how I watch her eat every day normally.
Absorbing.
When she went to prison, she ate normally, no needing of a feeding tube. I see that she didn't need to sit in a wheelchair, even though her mother forced her to. Okay, she can walk just fine. Her mother knew that she could walk just fine.
She did that. She chose to do that after her surgery. She admitted it.
Nobody could see her walking in her own house. I see that her mother shaved her head.
She admitted that it was her who did that.
Looking sick, even though she didn't need to look sick. I'm sorry, even though she wasn't sick. I see that her mother pulled her out of school, even though she was fully capable of learning, and she got the feeding tube put in at the age of 8. And that's absolutely unnecessary. And so I definitely see, Were there maybe surgeries that were done?
I'm not talking
Reel
about
it in,
the feeding tube
Justin.
being like a
You
surgery.
shouldn't bring up things if you don't know what you're talking about.
Necessary procedure.
Okay, and I could see how maybe something like that could form, like, you know, based off of a false narrative or something like that, that the
Come on.
might give out in some way. But I mean, she said she went 20, 30, 40 different surgeries that one that was going to go near her throat. Because like she said in her book, that she was going to have one that was going to be done that was going to possibly hit her vocal cords. And that was the moment where she had to call Nick and do whatever happened, even though it showed the correspondences going way before that. And then in the book, it says, oh, no, there was a specific moment that was like, it was either her or me. You know what I mean? And it's kind of contradictory. You know what I mean? And just
Ask him.
like, does that kind of like put a radar on you at all? It's just
Why,
like
when she was
book,
questioned
said
on the
there's a
stand why
specific
she killed her
time,
mother,
and it shows
she
her
never said because it was
correspondences with
abused.
Nick
She was
talking
abused.
about this way before any such procedure was done. And then it also shows that, I don't know what procedure she was talking about that she said she's had done before 20 or 30 times, but I don't know what surgery would get done. Changing the feeding tube is not a surgery or a procedure, nor is it dangerous.
Oh, God.
So
You
if
don't
that
know
was
what to
she was
talk, Justin. Reel it
But
back.
putting a feeding tube in a child that doesn't need one, you don't seem
But
as
she
a form of
needed one.
abuse.
She had malnutrition she was suffering from.
absolutely think it was
She
abusive.
had
But I'm talking about
malabsorption
surgery.
issues.
I don't
She
consider a feeding tube
absolutely
surgery.
needed it.
If it was impractical and unnecessary, yeah, that's bad. But I'm
Having a device,
20,
Oh,
30,
having a
Justin.
device medically inserted into your stomach to be fed
They
from
don't
a
just
bottle
put
of
in feeding
formula.
tubes because Mama said
I
so.
see as a surgery, an
That's not an
unnecessary
IC. Come
surgery
on.
that you don't need.
No. Well, I mean, you can even look in, if you want to look in the actual
Yes,
literature, a feeding tube is not a surgery. It's just, it's a procedure. It's not
Yes,
a
it
surgery.
is.
Wait, okay, well, we're getting lost.
Come on, Justin, now.
Procedures / surgeries, but the point is, she didn't need the feeding tube, right? She didn't need it. And it was an
Yes, he
unnecessary
did.
procedure, surgery, however you want to phrase it.
What
It was
about
unnecessary?
It showed it in her documents. She signed her own medical paperwork for 22 months before her, on her own, before her mother was had it passed
Before
away.
she gave her mother.
Gypsy herself, without her mom there, just her signature alone was signing for her own paperwork.
Nina, I'm gonna need you to go in that live, man. I need you to go up there.
Like, if this was all going on,
No, he's not gonna let.
couldn't she have told one of them or have done anything? I mean,
I really don't want to talk to Ken.
Think that she fully
I'm
even
banned
knew
until the
that she didn't
18th
need
on
it.
both accounts. I
That
can't
she
go
was
in there.
taught by her mother that she may have needed this.
yeah, but I mean, if she knew she could eat,
She
and
did
there was all
need
the other
it.
stuff from her in the castle eating the mashed potatoes and all that.
Like I said, I cannot put myself in the mindset of somebody who is being sheltered and abused by their guardian.
Oh, God.
I can't imagine what
Sheltered?
she was thinking at that time. I can understand that she listens to her mother's advice and she would sign this paperwork as her own person or whatever because she thought that because of what her mother told her that she needed this. You know, but I can't put myself in that mind frame of what she thought was right or not, because at the time that you're talking about, she was still under the care, you know, if you want to call it care, of her mother.
Yeah. Well, one other thing, this is a little bit, I don't mean to get off topic again, but there's...
I'm not giving out, I'm just reading your chat, but I'm giving out all these excuses. Like, I feel like this is a very realistic way of looking at it from somebody who's not in that situation.
Right.
I'm not giving an excuse to anybody. I can only try and understand.
It doesn't make it fact,
would
buddy.
make her feel.
I personally think Dee Dee and Gypsy were both in on the cons. I have my reasons for that. You could disagree with it. That's perfectly fine. But you know what I mean? Like throughout everything that I've looked at, I think I think that Gypsy was groomed into that situation and was taught to get into a situation like that. I think both her and Dee Dee were kind of thick as thieves when it came to this kind of.
Well, I think you kind of just explained my thought point right there on your own by saying that she was groomed into it. She was guided to it by her own guardian, by the only person that she knew to love and take care of.
And you have
doesn't
self-awareness.
understand.
Yeah, but again, like
This is actually annoying.
What you are thinking about as somebody who grows up and has a self-awareness is a regular person who goes to society on what we call normal terms, going to middle school, going to high school, being able to become their own person versus somebody who is sheltered and stuck in their own house with no homeschooling, nothing, under the care of one person. You can't connect.
He didn't learn to read and write without being homeschooled.
So while I can sit here and say, well, when I was 22, I would have never agreed to that. Of course, because I grew up in what we call a regular childhood. Gypsy grew up under an irregular childhood. I mean, she pulled out of all social norms and being stuck in a household.
No, I understand, but she had the internet, she had the cell phone, she had she was mostly on contact like through the internet kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's hard to play two roles.
She
Of
was
being a
out with
sick girl that
friends. They had parties with neighbors. She was not sheltered.
So she had access to a laptop, the internet. Does that not take her out of the household that she's still currently in? I mean, she's still sheltered in this household. And she tried to run away before, got pulled back. Whether or not you believe her stories that she told you or not.
That's the part where it kind of, I don't know what to believe, because she herself has admitted that she's been a path a lot. She could tell a lie without a conscience. So it's, you know what I mean? It's like, for me, I understand you have the bias and you believe her, but it's just like.
No, for sure. And I get where you're coming from too. I get your point, but I feel like what I'm saying is I can only try to understand somebody who had grown up under those pretenses, who was stuck in that household with no connection other than like going on her laptop to the outside. That's not a real connection to the real world.
But she was out and about with friends and stuff like that.
Story, and then
she told you stories about how she went trick-or-treating and did all the things.
Just, a part of the story. We are not able to hear the side of the story.
One question I keep seeing in the comments really quick is, what do you think about when Gypsy sent Ryan pictures of Aurora and also, I guess, glamour shots of herself?
I don't really know why she did any of that. I could only think that she was trying to get Ryan to sign off on this paperwork. We proved to him that Aurora was mine, and he decided to ignore that proof. His thought process was, well, my blood wasn't taken, therefore I can't believe that paternity test, the first one that we did. Where my DNA was taken and Aurora came back 99.9% mine. He was still ignoring that. So I think that Gypsy was trying to show him, this is a real child.
No.
This is our child. We need you to just come to your senses and stop fighting this and just sign off.
So you use sexually provocative pictures to manipulate a man? Shocker.
And, just trying to relate to him on a humanity side, that this is a real child that we're dragging through the mud.
Sexually provocative pictures are not humanity side.
Shots and stuff. And are you with Amber? I don't know what reality is anymore.
I don't know. Well, okay, so like Gypsy and I have not gone through our own problems as a couple. We've had our moments, we've had our fights, and like she said before in her apology video, there are times where she thinks that Ryan is her comfort and this and that, and that's her own progress as a person.
That then X would be her comfort.
I'm not saying I support that. I'm not going to agree with that.
No, you are saying
that's been a part of her evolution, and
she's still kind of. You don't think that's still going on at all now?
I know that it's not going on now.
Okay. Well, I've heard
you said that about that back then.
It's true that you did threaten her that if she were to continue going back and forth with Ryan, you would go to Texas with Aurora.
I think that in a moment of anger, I did say, I'm getting really, really sick and tired of all this bullshit. I think I'm ready to just go, and I will file for not sole, but like partial custody. I said that in a moment of rage. And then I apologized for it because I would never want to threaten to like take away her daughter from her. And we work through that as a couple, but we have our moments, we have our fights, we have our arguments, like regular normal people do. And have I said things that I regret that I didn't mean? Yes, and that was one of them. Where I did say, I'm getting tired of all this shit. I want to just go back to Texas, file for partial custody. And then literally like within minutes, I was like, I'm sorry that I said that. I shouldn't have said that.
Come on, dude.
Let's get through this. Let's, and that's just a part of being human. That's a part of a regular relationship. It doesn't happen normally. That was the one time that it happened. But I'm not going to lie.
Tell them to ask, do they not really see their relationship as toxic?
Of anger, but we worked through it.
All right, because I know from what I've heard about Texas is if you have murder on your record, I believe you're kind of dead to rights when it comes to custody. So
that's actually not true.
That wasn't at all in my in my thought process at the time. It wasn't like I was saying, I know for a fact I'll be able to win this and that. It wasn't like that. I don't even know if that's true or not. And that wasn't at all in my mind when I said it. It was just a moment of anger that I said that, but it wasn't like a serious threat. It was just, sometimes couples fight and they say things they don't mean, and that was just a moment of that's just an example of that.
Okay. I mean, I wasn't sure if, it very well could have been that.
Fight, but they
Again,
don't
like, I
threaten
like
to
to
take
hear
kids
both sides
away.
of the story. And, I mean, that was actually from Gypsy herself that said that. So, because
I know.
yeah, so I was just wondering if that was sort of like, if that actually happened, or if that was something you were still considering, or what the problem was with that. Like, I mean, I get all that and everything else. So it's just like, and I know that Texas, there's a reason they say don't mess with Texas. So it's just like, I can imagine if someone had a record like that, that custody would probably be like a one and done deal as far as that goes. So I was just a little bit curious about that, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't live in Texas, so Texas laws don't apply. Even if I were to move there, it wouldn't matter because the child is here in Louisiana.
That's
so
not
it
true.
wouldn't have mattered regardless.
After
But,
6
maybe
months, they
that's
would
true,
have
maybe not. But
jurisdiction.
it wasn't at all in my thought process at the time.
Yeah, no, I get that completely. And like, I live in the state of New York, and like,
And
one thing I think
child.
it applies in most states is, this is, I guess, a conversation all in and of itself.
Somebody
like,
reel
if
him back
there's
in.
divorce court, almost 9 times out of 10, they will give the children to the mother, like almost without even hearing like the father's case for anything. It's like they almost like by default give it to the mom. And I'm not saying that's a good idea or a bad idea kind of thing, but I thought like
true
with
nowadays.
Texas,
That's not true.
sort
No,
of the
yeah.
criminal record sort of side, like, you know, they kind
Well,
of.
I'll just go on record and say that I won't ever try to do that, regardless of whatever happens in our lives. I will never try and strip that away from anybody.
Somebody get that on
Gypsy is the
recording.
mother of Aurora, and I'm the father of Aurora, and I want to give her the best life ever, and I want her to have her mother and father involved. So I will never try and take that from anybody.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. That's how I would be, even if
Someone
I hated my
keep that,
exes. Like, I would never
throw
want
that one
to
away.
take the mother, unless the mom is a clear and present danger in some way or something like that. Then you know what I mean.
Well, that's a different circumstance for sure. But like knowing that where we are now and the full confidence that I have in our family dynamic, I don't think that that's even a question that I raise in my mind.
He's saying how he never
One quick
would think she
question I
would
keep
cheat,
seeing
but
is,
he did admit that she said Ryan was her comfort.
That
Like,
went
that's
around
crazy.
the
And that
TikTok
he
for a
was
while.
sending provocative
Collarbone
pictures to
thing, I'm
him
pretty sure you
and
saw that whole thing.
pictures of the baby. Like, you admitted that happened, but you won't call it
There was
emotional
nothing to that
cheating.
at all. That's just completely what I call snark brain misinformation that's
Oh,
been
God.
twisted and morphed into something depraved that wasn't actually the case at all. So I was, watching one of my, the full story is we're on the couch. I'm watching my TikTok. I see like a TikTok creator who does like OMI TV content. And he does like magic tricks and stuff for people on OMI TV.
Yes,
Yeah, there's several of them.
So your grown ass went to go watch magic
Exactly. So
tricks made for children on
created,
OMI
such
TV.
a big following that like he was getting
That's the story?
recognized. And so I looked over at Gypsy and I was like, I wonder if you would get recognized. Let's go on there for fun. So we went on there for fun, for shits and giggles. And I knew going in that we would be probably screenshotted, screen recorded, whatever. So we just did it for fun. And Gypsy was recognized, and people did take selfies with her and et cetera. But absolutely nothing, weird or inappropriate happened. We didn't say or do anything weird. And then there was a moment that like I was holding the phone in my right hand and I was leaning into Gypsy on the couch. I had my vape in my left hand and my hand was on my chest. And that these snark-brained idiots were like, oh, he's holding his hand on his chest. He's trying to signal minors to join his pedophile sex ring or some ridiculous bullshit like that, and it's just snark-brained ridiculousness.
I feel like that was an admittance
people
of guilt.
take and they just purposely morph and distort into something nasty and depraved that isn't even true. And that's all that happened. We were just on OMI TV for fun, just talking to random people.
The fact that you would even bring that up
and of course, I see all
makes
these
you sound guilty if you
people
feel like
later
you got to
going
defend
on,
that.
oh, they were on there looking for minors. And it's just bullshit. It's just hater rhetoric. Hater.
He's so angry about it that it's suspicious in and of itself.
Nothing was said or done that was nasty or inappropriate. And if you want to go ahead and go to Google yourself and type in, oh, what does your hand with 2 fingers mean on the chest? Nothing will come up. Somebody created a fake ChatGPT image that, holding 2 fingers on your chest
I
means
Googled
that
it
you're
myself.
signaling for a third.
It does
just
come
nonsense.
up.
It's
I Googled
absolute
it.
nonsense. And that's all there is to say about it. We did it for fun, for shits and giggles, to see if she would get recognized, and she did by many people. And that was the end of it. But you know, when you go into something innocently, you don't even think about what these people are going to try and twist and turn it into until after the fact, and you realize that people are just trying to attack you for this ridiculousness, and that's what
so
happened.
everybody's the problem, but not you.
Yeah, no,
That's
I
what I'm
understand
saying.
all that. You know what I mean? I was just curious just to hear your side of that. Again, I'm trying to
Oh,
get on
God.
both sides, and like usually I come with my own conclusions like later. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm fortunate from hearing your side, because like I said, I'm not afraid to change my mind on certain things. There's things that
Oh,
might stick
come
with.
on.
There's things that might shove me even more into one direction. You know what I mean? That's why I'm fortunate that like, you know, I get to be one of the people to actually talk to you, because out of this whole I guess Gyp verse, if you want to call it that, you're the one that we've heard from the least. So I want to thank you for coming on to my panel and, you know, just being very open about that. You know what I mean? Whether we're on opposite sides of the panel or not. You know what I mean? I go by what I observe. I don't always just go by what someone else says. I just kind of look at something for what it is, or, you know, and I try to, you know, interpret it in the way that I see it. Now, one question I've always wondered that maybe you had an opinion on. You're familiar with the Son of Sam law, correct?
Somewhat.
Okay, it's basically a law where you cannot profit off of your crime in any way. Now, Louisiana does not have that law. In fact, Christy, in one of her lives, actually kind of gleefully said, "Well, our state doesn't have that," which basically means, like, in a way, she's saying, like, we're collecting blood money and we're allowed to do it. Like, that's just kind of the way she came off. I'm not sure if that's what she was meaning to say. I'm not saying that I believe that necessarily. Part of me kind of got, you know, had my eyebrows up a little bit.
Well, we know it's all
like,
about the money.
Do you think Gypsy's crime might fall under that a little bit? Do you think she, like, had she not committed her crime, she would not be known the way she is now?
I can't.
Obviously.
I can't speak on the intricacies
That's an
of the
obvious.
Son of Sam law.
Who would
But what
know
I
her
can
if she
tell
didn't kill her
you
mother?
is that I think that Gypsy
Who would
has
know
a very
Gypsy Rose
unusual
Alcida Blanford
and
from
interesting
Louisiana if she
story
didn't kill her
that,
mother?
you know, is to
That
be
was
told.
what?
It's very unique. And if you want to hear about it, and you want to hear about where she's going, or want to hear how she's progressing post-prison, post-crime, you can by tuning in and watching her and following her, etc. If you don't want to, you don't have to. And I've said this before. You know, I don't know about all the intricacies of the Son of Sam law and all that, but I'm just saying that she has a story to tell, and it's a very unique and wild story.
So
And
somebody
from her
asked him, what
past
exactly is
to
the
where her
story?
present is. And if you want to kind of see where she started from and where she is now, you can listen if you want to. If you don't have to.
Oh no, I understand all that. I'm just asking, do you think that her story, like wherever the crime fits in there, do you think that falls under the Son of Sam law, where
Yes, she murdered somebody, has notoriety from it, and gains financial gain. What do you mean, Justin? Yes, it falls under
the big
there.
following, and, you know, getting the book deals and doing the whole talk show circuit. Do you
That's
think
the actual
it was her
definition of
crime
what the Son of Sam is.
that made her known?
What do you mean?
the way
Do
she is
you
now?
think it falls under? It
I think
does
her
absolutely
story
fall
has
under.
led her to where people want to know where she is now, and want to know where she came from, and want to know how she's progressed. You know, the only reason why she gets book deals, the only reason why she gets airtime is because people want to see it. You know,
No,
and
people want to see what else she's got
People
to
are fascinated
say
by
to
it.
see
That's
how
her story to
inconsistent she's
tell. I
been.
can't speak on her story. I can't speak on the law, whatever. All that I can say is she has a story, and if she wants to tell it, people want to listen. People obviously want to listen. That's why we have
which
1.6 thousand
do we
people on this
listen
live right
to?
now. They
Which
want to hear
version of
about
her
it. They
story
want
do
to know
we
what's
believe?
going on. If people have an interest in hearing
Why
about
is she
it,
so angry?
that's the way that it is. You know, and that's the only reason why we are where we are now. And if you don't care, and you want to just say that this is all bullshit and don't give a fuck what's happening, then you can tune out. But people tune in because they want to hear.
Probably getting yelled at by Gypsy on his side.
Every aspect of it. That's absolutely why I'm talking to you. You know what I mean?
Which version?
You know, I have questions of my own. I'm sure
do we
other
listen
people do too. Again, like I'm listening to you more than I'm reading the comments. You know what I mean? That's why I'm like probably missing a lot of what people are saying. Because, like, you know, I'm like I said, I'm genuinely interested in just like hearing your side of things. Because, like, again, like out of everybody in this story, I like the person we've heard from the least is you. So you know,
No. What just happened? You went mute, Nina. Can anybody else hear it, or is it just me? Nina? Hello? Nina! Man, she couldn't handle anymore. Nina done passed out. Did we lose you, Nina? Someone grab the smelling salt. You there? Well, this just became the Ivy Rose No Show, guys. Yeah, I think we lost. I think we lost Nina. Man, I can't. I'm getting so frustrated by listening to all this nonsense. I think she done heard all the lies and passed out. Hey, Jennifer. Nina, you there? That's so funny. Does she not realize? I can't mute her, so she muted herself. You there? Hello? Yeah, I don't hear anything else either. Tammy, I agree with you. I agree. You can only hear me? Oh man, we're in for a show now. I just hijacked Nina's platform.